All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can. If we're up and running, and we'll do our social media posts and intro. It'll take about a minute, maybe, to process through that. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Checking on my mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that sounds. Mic check. Mic check.
Over here. Check.
3. Yes, that sounds. Mic check. Mic check.
Over here. Check.
3. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds strong. Okay, sorry, that's a cacophony of noise, but I needed to make sure my resonance was good. So, hey, we're looking good here. If you want to skip forward, like if you're here in the future and you're catching this after the fact, you can skip forward a minute, and we'll get past my intros and we'll dive into today's topic, which is going to be we're building more Spelljammer subclasses inspired by the mechanics developed in the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that I published on DMsGuild. It is currently on Cyber Monday sales. So if you're catching this on Monday, it's going to be it's a 24-hour flash sale that DMsGuild approached me about, and said that they wanted to sponsor the book for their Cyber Monday sale this year, which I am absolutely thrilled about. So give me a second here, and I'll show you the way to that. Let me clear my deck here. Get that lined up. There we go. Okay, so on the if you're on the X Twitter platform, welcome to the mix. I'm at Phil Kearney. Currently pinned at the top is the sale. So if you want to click on that, it'll take you to Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, where you can see it's 80% off right now. It's only $4 out of 20. After the sale today, if you're catching this in the future, I still have a 25% discount code. You can catch that on Tuesday or later. As you can see here, front page blast. So I'm thrilled about that. Thanks a lot, guys. Again, DMsGuild is just treats creators really, really well. If you come to the table with original art, original ideas, and connect with the management about, hey, this is the sort of things I'm looking to build. What do you think about that? They are awesome. So much love to the One Bookshelf team and Roll20 setting all this stuff up. So that's Twitter. Here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks a lot for new subscribers, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications to get live in the future. If you're not on the X Twitter platform, that's cool. Here is the Spelljammer supplement that we were just looking at here. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. Again, massive sale on Monday only. In the future, we'll have a discount code for 25% off as well. And here's all the other books that we made, but today we're working in the Spelljammer subclass book that we're building. So if you didn't see that here in the description, you can just click into it. For you, it's going to be a read-only Google Doc, but it's the same doc that I work in when we're streaming like this. We've already gone through the first 12, and we include Artificer. I'm a big Artificer enthusiast. I love the Artificer. If I'm not playing a Divine Sorcerer or a Divine Soul Sorcerer in a game, I'm probably playing an Artificer. So those are my two jams. Heavy is that energy here, blue-red stuff going on. So the Bard. So the Artificer builds siege weapons and infuses siege weapons with their things that, they're like repeating shot and stuff like that. So we have that all listed out here, what you can implement into your siege weaponry. Barbarian is a rage pilot. So in this system, you don't have to be a spellcaster, which means that a barbarian can be a pilot just as much as a wizard can. So he rages while he pilots and imbues his ship with rage energy. The Bard is College of Command, so excellent at commanding siege crews and squadrons of fighter craft. The Cleric of the Sojourn domain is about being able to navigate space and actual description, familiarity, improved navigation. Starting at 6th level, traveling the astral sea, you have more clear image of your destination than you would normally have. When rolling to determine the duration of a journey, you are considered to be 1 degree more familiar with the destination than you otherwise would be. This is going to be the space that we're going to be operating in today for the... I'm going to actually grab this thing and drop it down because I want to make sure I'm not... I'm okay operating inside a similar space as the Cleric Sojourn domain we've created, but I want to make sure it's distinct and different. The Druid, Circle of the Melding Heart. This is using your wild shape to bond with the ship that you are piloting so that you can use your wild shape form to modify the craft as though it were a living creature. Stay tuned for the Living Ships supplement that we will build, where we are taking materials and diving deep into the animated object and awaken spells. They're both 5th level spells that allows objects that are normally inanimated to become active either directly under your command or as their own sentient creatures. So we'll have a great opportunity to dive into that to bridge the gap between characters, their ships, and then Kaiju is a big step in between, and in between those two steps we can have living ships, which helps bridge the gap from these are ships into these are Kaiju. So that will help curve, honestly, into the Warforged Machines book that we've been building, which is a mecha combat system using this with 5e mechanics, where your characters are strapping into warframes that are anywhere from 10 to 500 feet in size to fight mega kaiju or battle ship, like fleets of ships, or whatever it is that you're imagining the scale of your Spelljammer campaign can achieve. Just as a side note, we ran Descent into Avernus as a Spelljammer campaign to work on the fighter craft and fleet mechanics that we have in the game. Worked fucking awesome. I would consider moving Spelljammer into Carcery, specifically because is it Carcery? I think it's Carcery that has the giant 6-sided dice that are just tumbling through space to become an infinite battlefield. I think that might be a fun place for devils and demons to fight in a Spelljammer sort of motif. So that's an idea there. Fighter pilot, it's like a battle master, but implemented for when you're piloting craft specifically. Well, craft and vessels, any flying vessel. Craft and vessel mean different things. Ship is the neutral term. So, and that would also include mecha. So fighter craft, vessels, and mecha, all of them would be able to make use of this fighter pilot. So once we get the mecha book out, it'll naturally curve in with this book. This is going to be a discount thing. Here, let me show you real quick. If we go down to the color mana spell point variant rules that I have, this replaces the 8 schools of magic and spell slots with a color mana system that was made famous by Magic the Gathering. But the reason I'm pointing it out is because this is a bundle, right? And this bundle is a strong 36% off. So, but you can see here it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has 7 books in the bundle, and this one, and this one are all pay what you want. The rest of these are under $5 a piece, and this one's like $13, but it bundles down to $10. So everything in the bundle is $10 or less if it's not completely free. So you can just pick up the pay what you wants for free if you want, and then you don't have to buy them in the bundle. You just get them, but they help drop the cost like coupons. So this, when all things are said and done, this $10 package is if you get to pay what you want for free, that shaves off 50 cents. That shaves off $1, and so you can drop it down from $10? Yeah, we can drop it from $11 down to down 2.5. So $11, that's $8.50. So you can drop it down to the whole shitload of this stuff for $8.50. But push it even further, they're all free to view. You can read the entire book, all my books. You can always read all of my books 100%. It's a 75-page book, 75 pages here on the block. But this is how I bundle stuff. So when we finish this, when we finish this mecha book or this subclass book, we can then bundle it with the Spelljammer book. And here, let's go back and look at Spelljammer real quick just to prove the point. This is 107 pages. The front 85 pages of it are combat mechanics and exploration rules and how to navigate space and the astral sea, how to map all that stuff, how to track movement of planets during a campaign. A bunch of really great little goodies. And then the last 25 pages is a conversion guide to use all these mechanics in an active game of Light as Araxis. And we play tested this stuff, and it all works. So we went to market with it. So we built it all out. Fun little combat battles. It gives you an opportunity to command a couple fleets at different points. We're creating an additional scenario for part 3. When you're messing around with Vocath in Doom Space, we're going to add on another fleet battle as like a $1 add-on, or maybe you pay what you want just to add to the bundle, just to start buffing things out to give you more toys. So the Warforged Machines, the Kaiju book, the living ships supplements, the subclasses that we're working on starting right now, and then the core book. That's 5 books that we have planned, plus all the extra stuff like optional Neogi ships and tactics, Elithid ships and tactics, Greenskin or Skro Navy, Skro Armada ships and tactics, and then the Elven Armada ships and tactics. So we'll add on additional ships to flesh out what we lost in 2nd edition that didn't make the transition through 4th into 5th edition. We'll re-add the Inhuman Wars, and then we'll be able to start statting out all these factions like Beholder ships and tactics. So we'll be able to build out all the different ships as fighter craft and vessels and carriers, and then be able to start looking at the different types of tactics that these different species and the technology and spellcasting abilities they have available to them, how they would approach combat differently from each other, hence the tactics. So these are fun little things I plan on building just to flesh out the game for people. And if you want to get back some of that lost 2nd edition campaign, like a narrative vibe, we can get that back. So yeah, fighters, and then monk is Way of the Living Ship. Basically, you instill your key energy into the ship so that you can Way of the you can use your martial arts with your combat weapons. So like eventually, like at 17th level, you'd be using a D12 times 10 for siege damage when you attack, which is the best melee combat in the game right now is this monk. So that's sick. And then you eventually get the ability to increase the speed of your ship along with because you're your fast movement, and you also have the ability to not be at the helm and still pilot it. Empty ship. That's it. Way of the Empty Ship. That's what we should call it. Empty, because at the pinnacle of this, you can pilot your ship without even being on it. So initially, and once you attune to the chair, you can walk away from it and go anywhere you want. But eventually it'll be, as long as you're on the ship, but eventually you can be miles away from your ship and still command it. So, yeah, that's super fucking cool. Empowered ship attack, enemy ship. I need to make mention. We'll get back to that because we're gonna do a round of cleanups. Oath of Salvage, which is the tenets of never leave somebody drifting alone. Even if you plan on just robbing them or enslaving them, you don't just leave them behind. Never leave someone to drift in space. That's like what the Oath of Salvage is really all about. So it doesn't matter what your goals are when you rescue them to help them get home or to eat them. You don't leave them drifting in space. So that all the abilities reflect that. The Ranger of Void Hunter, it's about being able to sustain yourself long, like ultimate form of this is you never have to sleep while you're at the helm, and you get long rests automatically just by staying seated. So you can become eternally vigilant and hunt uninterrupted with your amplified mark. So you can hunt someone literally for years on the deck of your ship. You don't have to eat, you don't have to breathe, you don't have to sleep, you don't have to break concentration. All you have to do is just hunt. It's like this would be like a prowler, like a little 20-foot prowler fighter craft that you would literally be able to like drop down on the legs and crawl into some dungeons to actually just hunt after your target across multiple planes of existence. Hunters, the Void Hunter's pretty cool. Rogue, stunt pilots, you get maneuvers just like the fighter did to be able to manipulate your action economy to get advantages and stuff. The Soul of Wild Space is you become an unnatural creature, which means you don't have to eat or breathe in space, and eventually you can move at spelljamming speeds independently of having a helm in the ship at all. You can just fly at unnatural speeds. And then the Warlock, Pact of the Dead God. This is you bond with dead gods in the astral sea, and you start getting all of this unnatural information and forgotten lore. So it's like a diviner deep dive. So, and then we come to the School of Navigation. So now we're finally getting to the meat and taters of today. Let's go to our game rules and classes and get down into the wizard. I've got, what time is it? I've been in 15 minutes, so I've got at least an hour of play. So let's see if we find some fun stuff. Let's drop down here to the sorcerer. And we're going to go down to the... nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Come back here. I wanted the wizard. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at the... Okay, so these are a little weird in that they don't have... they have like floating spell lists, like pick out spells from the school that you have. Like you automatically get extra spells, so that's a little wonky. So we're gonna skip past that and just go into bonus spells. School of Navigation, bonus spells. Guidance is a pretty good one. I gotta be careful about overlap. That is a serious concern. And then let's look at our scaffolding here. What is it? 3, 6, 10, 14, I think. 3, 6, 10, 14. Thank you. 14th, 10th. Oh, looks like my chat's down. Am I still live? Hold on. Let's since my chat's down, it doesn't look like I'm getting feed from people. Where are we at over here? I'm just gonna pop this out. There. There. If anyone shows up, now we can communicate. Cheers. Here. There we go. 3, 6, 10, 6. Yeah, OBS is being a little wonky with pairing the chat. OBS and YouTube are starting to desync again, so it probably means we'll be getting an OBS update at some point soon. We'll get to the bonus spells later. So first off, we want to look at, we're kind of in uncharted territory because we don't really have a lot here going on. We got the Arcane Ward, we got the Savants. We're not going to give them any kind of Savant ability. Ward, and then upgrade the Ward, and then Spell Tweak. And then Power, Power. So I'm just gonna put down here raw power. Here we get spell tweaks. 6 equals upgrade, and third equals mechanic of some sort. So let's see if that's consistent, because we can see that with the Abjurer, but let's see what the Diviner does. So we get our Divination Savant, Portent, Expert Divination, which is casting divination spells comes easily to you, only a fraction of your spellcasting efforts. When you cast a divination spell using a second plus level spell slot, you regain 1 expended spell slot. The slot you regain must be of a level lower than the slot you expended and can't... Whoa, wait a second. Casting divination spells comes so easily to you that it expends only a fraction of your spellcasting efforts. When you cast a divination spell using a level 2 plus spell slot, you regain 1 expended spell slot. The slot you regain must be of a level lower than the spell you expended and can't be higher than... Wow. Wow, that is spam heavy. That's intense. Third eye, you can increase the powers of perception and greater portent. And this one, okay, so the spell tweak that we got was expert divination, and then we got a mechanic. We got and then we have raw power, and the raw power is here. So those 4 things exist, but they just got shuffled. So there's apparently some flexibility, like the theme of them, but in the order that they get stacked up seems to be changing. So potent cantrip, this is an upgrade. So level 3, this is an upgrade to your cantrips, and then sculpt spell is a modifier. So that's a spell tweak with sculpt spells. Raw power at 3. Hey Omni, it's only divination spells. It's not like you're firing off fireballs in succession. That's very fair. That is very, very fair. I love it though. Just the way that 5e24 is opening up design space to be able to manipulate resources. Like, it seems that the real core advantage that players got in the upgrade is more types of resources and manipulating them all. So like free spells or downcasting spells or refunding spells, or like the mastery stuff for weapons, being able to tack those on or just automatically apply them to specific weapons as you go. Making use of short rests, making different use of advantage, disadvantage, manipulating the sneak attack pool that the rogue has. There's a lot of really neat ways that they're saying, oh, you have a resource? Well, you can make use of that, and we can manipulate it this way to work, to do something different. So it opens up a ton of really cool design space that we didn't, like, that if you had tried to do before 5e24, people would be like, I don't know, that's kind of weird. I don't know if you should be able to do that or not, you know? So but now it's like, oh, you're manipulating resources, that's clever. So it's just, people might disagree or not like WotC, but they lead the edge. So they're safe in that they don't explore really weird stuff, but they set the baseline for what vanilla game design is for 5e24. So if you're inside of that edge, then you're building very safe content. If you're building outside of that edge, then you're building couture, where it's designed to push the limits on stuff and explore different aspects of the game engine. So, sculpt spells, that's a modifier. Empowered invocations, you cast a spell invocations, you can add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll. That's the same as the potent cantrip, right? Oh no, you automatically take damage. Okay, that's an upgrade as well, but they're different. Interesting. And then over channel, you increase the power of your spells when you cast a wizard spell with the spell slot level 1 to 5 that deals damage. You can maximize damage with that spell on this turn. First time you do so, and then it's a damage clapper. So okay, that's cool. Hey, what's up? You think or stuff like that? Yeah, and people will be like, but there's no precedent for that. So when you should look at it is if it is balanced for that level. Nothing has a precedence if it till it does. Right, absolutely. Like I remember getting roasted for allowing a race to be medium or small. So yeah, what was once cutting edge, if it actually is just logical and opens up more options for the game, eventually it just becomes sensible. It goes from exotic to just common sense. That is the evolution of a game engine, and it's couture designers that push the edge that get us there. It changes how we want to approach and look at the game. So, yeah, there you go. It's like the action economy stuff that we use inside of the martial power system, where you can abandon, like you can sacrifice different pieces of your action economy, like your movement, your bonus action, stuff like that, or attacks. And in return, you get bonus mana to cast, like to trigger powers with during your turn. So you can either do like one thing that's really effective, or you can just keep your action economy spread out, but you can't do as much with any of them because you have to you're breaking up your action economy, and you have to burn your own resources to do things instead of having the actions create the resources for you to then expedite your turn. All I want to do is just hit one. I just want to make one attack this turn. I'm just going to dump a shitload of mana into it. Here we go. And now your round's done. You either hit or you miss. High risk, high reward. It's still within curve of how the game works because of the scaling of spell damage, but it's a different way of approaching it. And I always like to look at what can I do to help expedite the team. Like if I can cash out all of my action economy to grant like 3 allies a reaction to make an extra attack when they're in a better position than I am, my turn is already resolved, and everyone else all of a sudden gets to participate when they didn't expect to. So it keeps everyone centered at the table. That's a meta like a metagame approach. Like it's a meta problem. It's a player problem that exists outside of the game, but you can create mechanics inside of the game that pull players into the moment. Like keeping everyone on initiative all the time. So like as soon as Claire's done, it's John's turn. As soon as John's done, it's Marissa's turn. And you just keep rolling through your table. No one can just check out on their phone because it's going to be your turn next round. What do you want to do? Or you do group initiative. That's another mechanic. Outside, I like straight initiative in combat. But outside of combat, if you do just if you have a group initiative where everyone acts at the same time, but you determine what everyone wants to do first, and then everyone resolves at the same time. So tell me what you want to do. I want to search that bookshelf. Let's say, okay, wait. And then we go through the other 3 people that are at the table, so you can't disengage and go back to your phone because you're looking to see what everyone's doing the same thing. Well, if you fail that stare, like if you fail looking at the bookshelf, right? Then the next person, well, what do you want to do, Claire? I want to check the bookshelf. Great, you failed. John, what do you want to do? John says, well, why don't I look at the bookshelf? And you start dogpiling the thing that you want. But if you do group initiative like that, where you tally what everyone wants to do, if you let this turn go and Claire's searching the bookshelf is searched. If you really want to nail it, then maybe you should help her this turn. And maybe you can cast guidance or something so the 3 of you can work together to make sure you search that bookshelf. So next turn, oh yeah, you guys neglected it. You wanted to tie your shoes, you wanted to eat some bubble gum, and now Claire rolled a 3. Well, why don't I check the bookshelves? Because you fucking skipped your turn when the option was there to be able to help Claire searching the bookshelf. So now you don't know anything about the bookshelf, fucking move along. So like you can get rid of that that meta issue of people dogpiling skill checks. That sucks. If you work on a group initiative style where everyone declares their action and then everyone resolves their action together, you can keep blocks of time. Like all of these tasks will take either 1 or 10 minutes or an hour, depending on how intense they are. And whoever chooses the longest task sets the duration for the day. And so if you want to get through a 16-hour day on a turn-by-turn basis, you can do it on a turn-by-turn basis. Searching a small room, it's only going to take a minute. Search a really big room, it'll take 10 minutes. Stuff like that. I'm on a tangent, but that's the kind of thought process that like I like to think about. Like what's a meta issue outside of the game, and what mechanics can you bring into the game that gets rid of the table problems so that the game runs more smoothly for you. And most of the time, it's give them an incentive to be paying attention is what I find. Anyway, that's my spiel. That's right. Okay, so we looked at that. Now let's look at Illusionist because we're trying to verify if it's like some sort of mechanic that you get. Is it an upgrade to something? Is it breaking how spells work? Or are you just gaining some sort of raw power? There might not be much difference between mechanic, upgrade. I mean, these can kind of be interchanged in terms, but we're not seeing a consistent pattern of like, you're going to get a defensive thing at level 10, right? We're not seeing that. So improved illusions, this is manipulating, this is tweaking your illusions. Phantasmal creatures, you always have summon beast and summon face spells prepared. Whenever you cast either of them, you can change its school. This is also manipulating. It could also be considered an upgrade. Illusory self, get hit, attack roll, reaction, interpose an illusory duplicate of yourself. That is a mechanic. And then illusory reality, which is you make shit real. Spell ongoing, the object remains real for 1 minute. Okay, so that would either be like a mechanic. It could be considered a spell tweak for sure. Mechanic. And it could also be considered raw power. So we're seeing a pattern here in that there is no real pattern to what you should expect to get at different class levels. I think I need to take another look at like the Barbarian Scaffold to see if that's actually true or not. That sounds like a worthwhile exploration for when we go back into the Martial Powers book. But yeah, I'm interested in that. So that basically leaves us an open door to fuck around with anything that we want. So let's see. Since we don't have any real guidance here, we can
I guess we can mess around. So these are a bunch of divinity. Maybe the right thing for us to do this time instead is to start with the spells. That's gonna take that generally takes longer than anything else. But let's actually start by picking out the spells we're gonna use as their bonus lists, and as a result of that, see if there's anything in particular that pops out at us as something that we can tweak or manipulate to make it core to the class to be doing that thing, whatever that thing is. So I'm not expecting high hopes here. We've picked at this list 12 times now, so I think we're getting a general good vibe about what we're going to add to a spelljamming class. Guidance is pretty obvious for a navigator that you're trying to decide which way should I go, left or right. Let's flip our magic coin and it says go left. So that works. Navigator is time space. Minor illusion might not be a bad idea there too, actually. Minor. Not only can you create improv system maps to be able to show other people as just a manipulatable illusion in space, but you can also use it as a flash of light so that you can Morse code using Zicklight to people. Zicklight is like a Morse code. It actually uses the Theurgy language of clicks and whirs, which translates into dots and dashes. Click is a dot, whir is a dash. So as a Theurgy talks to you by clicking its mandibles together, like a scrape is a whir. And then you have the clockwork machines that somehow speak the exact same language, but they literally have like a little device that ticks, and they have a little gear that spins that whirs. So it has clicks and whirs, and then in light, it's either a quick dash or it's either a quick dot or a dash, and you can speak the same language. So you can either tap it out audio. You can actually do tactile sensation, touch, tap 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 touch, touch, tap tap touch. You can do things that way. Obviously, spoken language is really easy. You can do you can make that braille, like you can do like a little 9x9 grid and make that like little letters or whatever in braille to be able to code out like a hexadecimal code. That would work. And then of course flashing lights, like we said, over long distances. You can communicate that way in space or from hill to hill, depending on what your visibility is like. So which we talk about in the navigation section of this book. So minor illusion makes a ton of sense to tag on there as well. I like it, and I don't think it's been overused. I use dancing lights a lot to be able to coordinate different signals to different parts of your ship if you're like a commander type character. But navigation, I think dots make more sense. Checking grass, Social Burst, Spirit of the Dying, Starry Wisp, Thaumaturgy, Thornwood, Thunderclap, Toll the Dead, True Strike. Yeah, I don't think anything else here is going to really jump out at us as better cantrips. So 2 cantrips and a first and or second level spell. So let's see if we can find anything that just says navigation to us here in the first level spell list. Thinking navigator. Maybe comprehend languages. That's a fairly shit spell, but you, for the duration, you understand the literal meaning of any language that you hear or see signed. You also understand any written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about 1 minute to read 1 page of text. The spell doesn't decode symbols or secret messages. Okay. That's 50 words per round, roughly. Let's slot in comprehend languages for now. Was Augury earlier in the list and I just missed it? Oh, that's right. Augury is a second level spell. I keep forgetting that. Right. Okay. All is good. Comprehend languages, it feels like it's going to be handy because of star charts and shit. That just seems to be like what makes sense. Navigation tools. Hey, I found something. So it looks like you get 2 features plus your bonus spells when you're a wizard, right? So let's go with third. Let's go cartographer. Gain proficiency in navigation tools, and when you study action to research destinations, you roll with advantage. That's fucking huge. The way that here, let me peel. So here's the book that we published, right? And again, for anyone that wasn't around, this book is located. Scroll down to Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. Click it open. Click full preview. You can read the entire book with me. So we are going to be in the traveling the astral sea. There we go. So that's where we're going to be in the book. So you can read along with me if you're interested. And I'll just be looking from the actual book itself. So let's go down to traveling in the astral sea. So let's go to here. The more you're familiar with a location, the faster you can arrive there. So if you're very familiar with a location, like you grew up there, you can always come home within 1d6 days. But if you're going out someplace that all you have is a loose description, like Treasure Planet, for example. I know there's a treasure planet out there, and if I can find it, it's going to take 12 days for me to do so. So that's the DM basically randomly generating encounters for me on my quest to find treasure planet for 25 days to the astral sea until we find the system where Treasure Planet is located, and then we fall into that system, and then we start fucking around with the wild space of Treasure Planet. So that's cool. So the more familiar you are, the faster you can arrive there. This sets up, like we were talking about earlier today, this sets up opportunities for you to have wayfinders, where you can hire guides like a Sherpa, right? They can get you to Treasure Planet. I've actually been there once. So I can get you there in 3d10 days, on average 16 days. Maybe you had somebody who got stranded there for a few days or a week or something. And so they've seen Treasure Planet casually. They get the vibe. Or maybe they've been stranded there for years. And when they finally get out, they want to go back with a ship that they can haul away the treasures that they found there. And they're very familiar with Treasure Planet now. They can get you back in a hurry. Maybe you have a race where, oh my God, we're behind. There's another team that can probably get there within 10 days. We need to find an expert on that place to hire them, whatever it is that they're going to charge us. We got to get there first. So let's do that. So now you have a chance to race them. So you can develop these interplanar campaigns using the astral sea as a medium to act as a sea for you to then have encounters and side quests and pocket dimensions and spill into other conflicts and shit like that just kind of brews up from people's imaginations because it's the astral sea. So you can mess around with that stuff. And but these are travel times. And then drop down here is how you gain familiarity by either exploring and spending time at that location or by researching it. So go figure. We'll have the number of days spent to research a description is a D4, then 2D6, and then 3D8. Timely timer, keeping time. And you can't become very familiar through research alone. That then makes the first feature that we can add to the wizard. Hold on, let's check and see here. Scene casual. Once. Scene casually. Starting at 6th level, while traveling the astral sea, you have a more clear image of your destination than you would normally have. When rolling to determine the duration of a journey, you are considered to be 1 degree more familiar with the destination than you otherwise would be. So you could have, your team could work in tandem together. The wizard could research this place. So I'm just going to steal this. This is good shit.
Let's go with maybe here. Cartographer and then familiarity. That's nice. I like that. When did the cleric get it? Cleric gets it at 6. Second level. Oh, that's broken. Hold on. Third. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh, I was using the 2014 structure for... Okay, I'm going to take a quick tangent here. To the top. I'm going to go back into the cleric because I built that wrong. That's the wrong scaffold. How funny is that? Like domain. 3, 6, 17. 3, 3, 6, 17. 3, 3. You can spend a use of Channel Divinity. You don't need to spend Divinity, comma, you don't need to expend a spell slot to amplify. Divine Navigation. Improvement, Potent Mending. Huh. And okay, there we go. Right. So we can get rid of Potent Mending. Ooh, that's really fucking good. Divine Implication. Yeah, this is working. Okay, we're changing the theme of the cleric. Let's see, bonus proficiencies, we don't need that. We can take that away and drop that here. Cartographer, then improved navigation. Here for the Sojourn domain, we got Divine Navigation. While traveling the Divine Sea, you roll to determine how long it takes to... No. Burp. I normally have... When you roll to determine how long it takes to arrive to your destination, roll twice using a short duration. Oh, yeah, that's a really good one, too. There, and then this will be 6. Improved navigation, cartographer, spells, comprehend languages. This is going to work out. Let's go back to the, looks like we're fixing the looks like we're retooling the cleric then pretty hard. That's cool. Apparently it was needed. So we follow where the muse takes us. So we have blessing. When as a magic action you choose your move yourself and have advantage on dexterity. Invoke duplicity as a bonus action. You expend a use of your channel divinity. Let me guess. Channel divinity, guided strike, attack roll, spells. You can only cleric spells specify word of main spell. You thereafter. War spells. War priest as a bonus action. Make use of your unarmed strike. Ooh. Striking a bonus action over time. You can spend uses and finish for rest. That's blessing. Okay, cool. So let's see. We need channel divinity, divine amplification. When you target a ship with a spell, you can expend a use of channel divinity. You don't need to spend additional slots to amplify the spell effect. That's great. And then potent mending. When you use the mending cantrip to repair a ship, you can add your wisdom modifier to this amount. Is that right? Do we get two? Do we get two third level things? War priest. Yeah, we do. This is sick. This is huge. Rolling dice, you automatically roll maximum damage, maximum healing points. That's really good. And then adding your wisdom modifier, amount of hit points repaired. When using the mending cantrip to repair a ship as a ritual to repair a ship, you can add your wisdom modifier to the amount of hit points repaired. And when rolling dice to repair a ship with magic instead of when rolling dice to repair a ship with magic instead of rolling dice, the result is always the highest die roll. Is always the highest result. Period. And then improved amplification is you don't have to pay additional spell slots amplifying any spells instead of your channel divinity. Solid upgrade. Let's see. Mending cantrip. So improved amplification, mending cantrip, mending message, augury, unseen servant, Leon's tiny hut, sending, dimensional door, freedom of movement, scrying. So we want to change out the spells here. But I think we can steal a lot of these. Yeah, I like that list a lot now. So cartography, we're gonna have to rebuild this, the cleric spell list, but that's gonna be okay. We'll have to do like mending or fabricate here. That's gonna be one of them. Leoman's Leo's secret chest. It's a good one. And then mending. Yeah, message is a good one. We'll keep that. Unseen servant is still good. I'll have to pick out a second level spell that'll make more sense for the druid cleric. God, we're gonna name it now. The domain changes. I guess for lack of a better, let's go with Shipwright. That's horrible. I desperately need a name for this because this is crap right now. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. Okay. So, damn it. There's no. Yeah. I think actually what I just did here is I did a reversal. I think what we need to do is have the navigation domain for the cleric, and then have the School of Shipwrights for the wizard, because all the good repair spells that we want for our ship is arcane, and all the stuff that I want to do here works for. Oh god, that's a pain in the ass. Okay, well, I'm glad to have made this discovery. So it doesn't look like School of Navigation is the proper title for this video anymore. Looks like we're going to be changing that title to the School of Shipwrights. And this will return to the Sojourn. Back to the Sojourn domain. So let's grab up this stuff here, copy all of that. Drop it down to here. Go, and then we'll grab these. Mending, message. Unseen servant. What a twist. Now I need a second level to cap off the Sojourn. That. Okay, locate augury and guidance. That, drop that down here. Here. Mending. Unseen servant. And let's go fetch a second level spell for repair. Shipwrights, repair, shipwright, repair, shipwright, repair. Second level is what I want. Hey, Omni, what's up? Just a point of note, totally fine if you disagree. Wizard schools are typically assigned to the kinds of magic. No, everything else is like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. No, yeah. I think we could probably fudge that if we wanted to, but, how about that? Now Eldritch is more. Let's go with Arcane Shipwright. There. Good catch. Thank you. Hey, thanks for sticking around too. I appreciate it. Let's see. Fog Cloud, Goodberry. Find Familiar isn't a horrible option. Grease, it sounds thematic, but it's no. Actually, no. It doesn't sound thematic at all. Identify, Illusory Script, Jump. Lawnstrider. Yeah, thank you for that. They moved away from that in 24. Well, oh yeah, good point. Oh god, good point. Good point. I need to pay attention to that when I go back to the color mana stuff. Actually, now that we're having that conversation here real quick, let me drop down here into my playtest real quick. Sorcerer, Warlock. This is the color mana stuff that we built out. Tradition of white magic. Yeah, we can keep that. Tradition of blue magic. I know they call them Evoker Diviner. Abjurer. But yeah, let's stick with like calling it like a black magician. That doesn't sound right, right? White magician. That sounds weird. Traditional black. Yeah, I think that still works. We're gonna keep that. Thanks for the gut check. Let's check the spells. I thought I was gonna get this done today, but I'm starting to think I'm not. Let's see. Oh god, Tensor's Floating Disc is such a fucking great spell. Meh. Wrathful Smite, Alter Self. There's gotta be a navigate-y sort of thing in here somewhere, right? We're looking for that's right, yeah, we're looking for a repair type spell. Mending Message, Comprehend Language, Unseen Servant, because those are pretty blah. Yeah, let's find. There's gotta be a repair, navigate sort of feeling spell. Repairish. Something repairish. Repairy. Reparee. Rip. Enthrall. Enlarge, reduce. I don't know, maybe enlarge, reduce might make sense. Find traps, flame blade, repose, gust, heat metal. Heat metal is not a horrible idea. It's not on the wizards list. Heat metal is a decent option. Kind of like that idea. Heat metal. Levitate's a good one too, because you want to lift up weapons and move them around and stuff, like siege weapons and shit. Useful. But heat metal, that sounds like a fun option. Protection, Rave Enfeeblement, Rope Trick, Shatter, Silence, Shatter. That's kind of thematic. Repair. Let's go with yeah, let's go with Heat Metal. That sounds like just a fun one to give them. There. And then leaving this tiny hut I'm still good with. I feel like Sending needs to change. We have it third level over here. Leo's Secret Chest, Fabricate. Oh yeah. All this is Shipwright stuff. I need to bounce this over. Cut. Paste. And cut. Paste. Nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's kind of a shit list in general until you get to Heat Metal. Heat Metal's fucking sick. And Heat Metal's great because like, okay, so one of the bigger problems, metal ships are really tanky, and they've got a lot of damage reduction. They got a really high armor class, and they have a shitload of strength and constitution bonuses. So they're tanky as fuck, but if you hit them with a heat metal spell, you can cook the people inside of the ship. It's awesome. You can upscale a heat metal spell, and that will just wreck. That will wreck people. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, super dangerous. Hey, what's up? When I make a wizard or I like making a few custom thematic spells for them to show off the. Yeah. Exactly. I like suboptimal picks to give you the flavor that leans into like you. They're free. It doesn't hurt you to have them. Just go research your own spells if you want them. Sure. That's an interesting thought. Yeah. That's yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that with all the subclasses we just looked at. Like they were tweaking the way that you could use spells. So once we get, I think once we get the full list built out, we'll see where stuff makes sense for that. So let's see. Here in the wizard, we've got potent. We got potent mending. That's going to be. We're going to drop that to third. Just like right off the cap. We'll call it potent repair. When you use the mending cantrip, because normally you can use a mending cantrip, we're gonna modify it, but like basically as a short rest, you can do D4 hit points of repair, which is shit. But you can do it per hour, so you can just loop it, and so you can get like 8d4 or 16d4 per 50-foot block. You can cast it multiple times. So like your hammerhead ship is has 250 feet worth of length, so it's got 5 blocks of 50-foot squares. So you could have 5 people casting mending each hour, so it could be 16d4 times 5, so that would be 50. It'd be 80d4 that you could roll. So in the course of, I'm gonna hit that for my timer. Good. That would be on average 40 d4. It would be 80 d4, so 80 would be 160. So yeah, on average, just through mending spells, a team of 5 repairs could put 160 hit points into a hammerhead ship 250 feet long. Or you could use like higher level spell slots like to amplify the mending spell, but it still takes an hour for you to perform the ritual. So taking your short rests is really helpful with ships to start repairing hit points, or you can take them to dock for just raw hit points. But this is going to ramp. This is going to cause that shit to ramp really quick. So does this take into account the 5e jammer spells or your own? This is all these subclasses are specifically. This is built for use with the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration mechanics that I publish on the DMsGuild, and the entire book is 100% free preview. So when we publish this book as well, it will also be 100% preview, and we're going to bundle it with this book. So the subclass book will probably be like $5 on its own, but when you bundle it with this book, it'll be $2, and this book normally is $20, but when we bundle it, it'll only be $16. So you'll get the 13 subclasses, and you'll get this book for, instead of $20, you get them both for $18. So I'm actually saving you $2 by buying the bundle. We're also going to add on some asteroid assets, like 130 some odd hand-painted asteroids that we're going to add as just basically as an art pack for like $4, and then drop it down to $1, so you get a shitload of stuff for less than the cost of the book. That's what I like to do with bundles. So yeah, it's most of this stuff is like, there's going to be mechanics in here that only make sense with the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that I published, but this is really just an advertisement and a coupon for you to buy my book. Like, if you buy this with the Spelljammer book, you'll actually buy it for less than what Spelljammer costs on its own. So it's a weird marketing strategy, but it's worked incredibly well for the Spelljammer, for the color magic system that I've been developing. That I've got multiple books for that on DMsGuild, and I do it the same way. I have the main book that explains the spell point variant rules, and then I have a bunch of other books that are either like $1 or $2 or pay what you want that get tagged into the core book. So it's like, if you want to use that core book, here's a shitload of other stuff that you can do with that core book to really buff out your campaign, or take bits and pieces as you please from it. So that's what we're doing with the Spelljammer book as well. So yeah, good question. It's going to be a niche audience because we only have like 270, 280 sales on the book so far. So it's a very small audience, but this just draws more attention to the mechanics that we can play with. And we're going to be providing a reference number. Like, when using these, here's the mechanic involved, and we'll have a reference number to the free preview, so you can actually just go and look it up. So it's like, oh, this is a cool rule. Maybe you start using that rule because it makes more sense on how to navigate the Astral Sea than not having any rules, as the Dungeon Master, as the Spelljammer's, the Wizard's version currently recommends. Like, there is no real rules about how long does it take to get someplace. It's just however long the DM wants it to for the convenience of the story. It's the Astral Sea, it's shifting, but we provide like hardline mechanics that you can actually build ideas around by providing enough rules to be able to riff off of and use as a lever to be able to make like alterations. Like, if it would normally take you 30 days to find a location that you aren't familiar with, and your enemies were able to find it in less than a week, that probably means they have somebody on board their ship that's really fucking familiar with the location that you're trying to get to. That then becomes a point of intrigue for you guys to potentially exploit. It's like, yeah, we'll let you live if you help us navigate this place. Like, that just becomes a new point of engagement that you can, that if you have mechanics that you can lever off of, is like, there's something weird going on with your mechanics. What's going on? It's a clue that there's something, like, it's a tool in the DM's toolbox to be able to add more narrative and depth to the game than there might otherwise be. So, but you, Omni, seem like the sort of person that understands that sort of stuff already, the way that you're talking about subclasses. So, but we are looking for, hold on, let me check my time. Okay, so I've got maybe 15 minutes or so left for me to be able to play today. So obviously we're not going to get done today like I thought, but hey, what else is new? Let's go click out of this. And let's go back to our spells and see if we can at least buff those out. So we're still looking for, hey there, timer. We were looking for 3rd level. That's right. Looking for a 3rd level spell for our Arcane Shipwright, and we're looking for are we done here? No, we're looking for a 3rd level spell for our Sojourn domain as well. Skill empowerment feels pretty good. That seems logical. I'm gonna pencil that in for now. See what? Okay, so let's go back into 3rd level and see what we can see. There you are. Might be thinking too much of regular ships. It's one. Yeah, mending's 1d4 hit points per hour. That's correct. But it's a cantrip. It's free. Otherwise, like if I had like one spell, I could a wish will magic your ship straight. But that's 4th tier. If you allow ships to be repaired to if you want ships to be repaired fast, then you would either have larger crews that know how to do mending, so you could have multiple mending spells running at the same time to get multiple D4s back per hour, which is what we were talking about earlier, or you run a smaller ship that you can get its hit points back quicker. But as long as the ship has 1 hit point, it's good to go, as long as you're willing to take damage for it. So you want to think about how many of my resources are allowing me to protect my crew versus how much resources do I have to repair my ship after the fact. You can't easily repair ships on the fly unless you're spending lots of spell slots like fabricate, creation, stuff like that to do it. But yeah, mending's a cantrip, and you don't provide hit points per round as a cantrip, even if you're dealing with ships, because some ships only have 100 hit points. Some ships some fighter craft only have 20. So like, it just depends on how fast you want to cycle through and repair your ship. And in this system, we're repairing more slowly. Let's see, 3rd level. Beacon of Hope, Bestow Curse, Blinding, Blind. I want to find Clairvoyance isn't a bad one. Do I already have that on the list? It's actually pretty good. Well, that was easy. What's up? That's Mending Heal 1d8 plus spellcasting mod once per hour. So really slow repairs unless you have gold and materials. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Huh. I don't remember it being d8 plus spellcasting mod. That's something I'm willing to review when we do all the upgrades for 2024. Because if I can find a smoother curve out of that, that's fine. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. That's done. And so we have Divine Amplification. When targeting a ship with a spell, you can expend a use of your Channel Divinity. You don't need to spend additional Improved Amplification. Wizard, Potent Repair. Improved Amplification. Potent Mending. This is all janked up. I feel like I've really swirled something around. Cartographer, improved navigation, travel time. That's a horrible title. Thank you. Cartographer. There. Let's get rid of those. Let's go back to our cleric. Cartographer, improved navigation, travel time. We're gonna have to do something. We have to do something with. While traveling SOC, when you roll to determine how long it takes to arrive at your destination, roll twice using the shorter duration. I'm good with that. But we're supposed to have a channel divinity thing going on. And Potent Mending is no longer part of Sojourn. Improved amplification I'm okay with though. Wizard. Potent Mending. Which you already have is Potent Repair. Let's go with third level. We want to have proficiency with Tinker Tools. Blacksmith Tools. And Carpenter Tools. And Tinker Tools. There. This feels pretty good. I'm starting to get into this groove. Let's see. Craftsman. What's up? They did change travel rules for 2024 as far as fast, normal, and slow pace. I don't know if that applies when you're on a ship. Oh, you must not be familiar with my book specifically. We deal with range as a sense of scale. So here's your travel time and whether you're using a major helm, which is a standard helm in 25, and then we have the really inexpensive fighter craft minor helm that's good for like planet hopping from like a planet to the moon and back, or from jumping from one ship to another. It moves considerably slower, but one day is 100 million miles, which is where Spelljammer clocks in the WotC book, 100 million miles per day. So if we kind of like round off the numbers, 24 hours, a tenth of 24 hours is roughly 10 million miles per 2 hours, and which would be roughly 5 million miles per hour. And then roughly 1/10 of 2 hours, which is 120 minutes. Roughly a tenth of that is 10 minutes, which is a million miles. And then 1/10 of a minute of 10 minutes, that's 1 minute, which is 100 million miles. Or sorry, 100,000 miles. And then a round is 6 seconds, which is 10,000 miles. And then if we go to the combat chapter, we can look at scale, which is you have the major helm of 10,000 miles. So if we're working at a 1,000 mile scale grid, each square is 1,000 miles.
and your normal movement speed using your object interaction as a pilot, you get 5 squares of movement, which could be anywhere from 25 feet to 5,000 miles, and any scale in between. So you go from, your map scale goes from 1,000 mile squares to 100 mile squares to 10 mile squares to 1 mile squares, which are roughly 5,000 feet, to 500 foot squares to 50 foot squares to 5 foot squares. So these are the different scales that you have of movement, going from 5, 50, 500, 1 mile, 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles, 1,000,000 miles, 10 million miles, 100 million miles. So from standing still at 0 feet to 100 million miles per day, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 6 degrees of separation, or 6 degrees of magnitude on the daily scale, like over land movement. And then in combat, you've got 1,000 miles is the fastest speed you can possibly go in a spelljamming ship on a square of movement per round. So 1,000 mile squares down to 5 foot squares, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of magnitude as well. So in combat, you've got 6 degrees of magnitude of movement. And then outside of combat, as over land movement per day, you've got 6 degrees of movement as well. So, or you could downshift smaller than 10,000 miles if you wanted to, if you want to go on a round by round basis still. But yeah, as a fast pace imposes disadvantage on a traveler's wisdom. Score traveling at a normal pace. Oh yeah. We change how you do that by having an observation scale. So if you're using an orrery station as a radar device, you can detect things at different distances depending on how big it is. So, and you always have advantage and disadvantage. So you roll, and the DM rolls, and then the player tells you what they rolled, and then the DM compares that to what the DM rolled. And so depending on if something is within range or not, you'll either roll with advantage or disadvantage. If it's outside of range, you roll the disadvantaged number, but the player doesn't know which number they have. So I could roll a 13 and the DM could roll a 20. So I'm going to roll at disadvantage if the thing that I'm looking for is further away. Like if that person that's floating in space is more than 1,000 miles away, then I'm going to use a disadvantaged roll. I don't get my 20. Instead I get the 13. So if I don't have a plus 15 bonus to notice that 5 foot person, if they're outside of 1,000 miles, I just don't notice them yet. But if they do float within 1,000 miles of me, then I could use the better roll that I had, which would be the roll of 20 that the DM had, plus if all I need is a plus 8 at that point. So depending on whether you're using an orrery station, or if you're trying to notice something with your bare eyes, or if you're trying to make out detail on something that you can see, the distance from the size of the object and its distance from you sets the scales. Keen vision or have adept. Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, and then this works with hiding objects as well. And there has to be like an object that you can be in orbit of to be able to conceal yourself from being seen. And it has to be a bigger object for you to hide inside the shadow of. So that's how that hiding stuff works as well. Otherwise, you just can't hide because you just stick out. But if you're like far enough away, I might not notice you anyway. So that kind of leans into how 2024 already uses hiding, invisibility versus invisibility. I think I haven't corrected it yet for 2024, but that's on my agenda. And I've got about 3 minutes left. I think I'm out of time. Hold on. No, I still got a few minutes. I can play. So what were we doing? Distracting me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's good. And then no, you don't. I love the subject. You're doing great, man. You are doing great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I in no way want to shut you down, man. You're doing fantastic. Leo Secret Chest. We were looking for other 3rd level spells that we could get into the Shipwright set. So I like Secret Chest because it's like a toolbox that you can just summon out of nowhere. I dig that. So I want to keep it. But let's see if there's other cool stuff that we can pick up. I mean, dispel magic doesn't really feel like it's a thing specifically. Man, I really like the idea of decking out a ship in a shitload. Oh my god, I didn't think about that. You can drop. Oh my god, yeah, absolutely, fucking 100%. Oh my god. Okay, LeFou, I'm afraid I've been thinking. So, Glyph of Warding, right? Spell Glyph. You can store prepared spell of level 3 or lower in the glyph by casting it as part of creating a glyph. The spell must target a single creature or an area. The spell being stored has no immediate effect when cast this way. When the glyph is triggered, what we can... Sixth level. Glyph of Repair. When you can... Oh, here we go. When you cast spells... When you cast a... When you... how to word this? When you create a glyph... When you create a glyph, you can... you can infuse, you can create a, I'm going to use shit language. You can use any spell on your bonus spell list, even if it is higher than 3rd level. So now I can cast Fabricate into a glyph, stick that glyph every 50 feet on my ship, and anytime I can just slap that glyph and it pops the Fabricate onto my spell, onto my ship, and automatically repairs it as an action without me having to cast any spells, because this is a glyph that somebody could just run on and just tap at any fucking time. Oh my god, what a fucking great idea. That just works. I love that. I love that. Glyph of Repair, get the fuck out. That's so cool. That is so cool. When you create a glyph, you can use any other spell. Because I don't want you to be able to use glyph to create another glyph. That's just that's a weird cascade of infinite glyphs that feels weird. So I don't want to create a magical railgun on accident there. But yeah, oh my god, that's a great idea. So we automatically heal maximum hit points when we cast a spell because of Potent Repair, and then at 6th level we can start using our glyphs to maximize spells that we cast. When you use the Mending cantrip as a ritual, even if it's higher than 3rd level. In addition, spells cast into your glyphs this way benefit from Potent Repair feature. Holy crap, that's cool. But that's 6th. So 3rd level Craftsman, proficiency, you gain proficiency with blacksmith tools, carpenter tools, and tinker tools. Potent Repair. When you use the Mending cantrip as a ritual to repair a ship, you can add your wisdom modifier to the amount of hit points repaired. When you use the Mending cantrip as a ritual to repair a ship, you repair 8 plus your proficiency plus your intelligence modifier. There. When you use the Mending cantrip as a ritual to repair a spell, ship, comma. There. Glyph of repair, we got that taken care of. 10th level and then 14th level. Ooh boy. What are we gonna do with you? Increased durability. While concentrating, while focusing on a spell amplifier, the ship. While focusing on a spell amplifier mounted to a ship, you create the while focusing on a spell amplifier mounted to a ship. You can use a reaction while focusing on when your ship takes damage, you can use your reaction to cast a repair spell from your bonus spell list. Maybe that should be a 10th level feature instead of 14th. That feels kind of 10th-y to me. Let's swap those. Yeah, that feels good. I like that. Like a super hype Warcaster feat. That's super fucking cool. Third, potent repair. Craftsman. Oh, that language is unacceptable anymore. I can't call it craftsman. I don't want to call it craftsperson. That's just weird. Let's call it. Repair tools. Fabricate typically needs raw materials to make a new thing, so the glyph alone wouldn't be enough for the instant whole. Oh, that is true, but we could amplify the bending spell to deal to heal just as much. So glyph repair. When creating a glyph, you can use any other spell on. You can use any other spell on your list, even if it is higher than like for example, the most optimal one would be. Let's go to. Actually, the most efficient place would be here. Let's go to repair. Fabricate mending. So if I use spell slots, concentration 8 hours, spell jamming ships, target range touch. When a spell slot is spent to upcast this cantrip, repair the following amount. Yeah, we need to change that. Fabricate is a 4th level spell. It does a D10. Here we have D10. Yeah, this should actually be cantrip. Why don't I have that? Target ship with the 500 feet in length or 1 siege weapon. When a spell slot is spent to upkeep this caster, repair the phone. Yeah, I should change that because you're right. If they're giving us free hit points as a ritual, then I should make that, and I need to desperately reduce that time. Yeah, this was. I could have done better with this. This needs to be fixed. I might actually fix this today. so that I can upload it and just replace that. That just feels like something that should happen. But regardless, we'll retain the ability to upcast. So we'll probably stick that in as D4 plus int, or we'll see if we can curve that out. It can be D8, 2D8, 3D8, 4D8, 5D8. Maybe I'll get rid of this cleverness and just throw down D8s. D8, 2D8, 3. That's not bad. The cantrip is D8 plus proficiency, and then first level with the way that healing works now in D&D, making this so if it's cantrip D8 plus stat, a healing spell like a first level cure spell would be 2D8 plus stat. That puts that in line. That's perfect. Okay, so 2D8, 3D8, 4D8, 5D8. So down here, yeah, it'd be 5D8 and then 6D8, 7D8, 9D8, 10D8. And then 9th level, I guess if you wanted to, 11D8, but you have the wish spell, which allows you to completely repair all of the ship. I'm glad we're having this conversation, because this could have been better. And now that 2024 came out, it clearly shows me where better should be. This has been a very productive conversation for me, Omni. I really appreciate you helping me make this better. Yeah, fucking absolutely would. That's perfect. Any potential, we'll work on that. We'll work on that language. But yeah, I have seen the light. Thank you, Omni. You have made this a better product. God bless you. I am stoked about that. So float and repair. Let's say, let's call it Shipwright's Glyph. I mean, am I crazy? Were we having a conversation about repair? Like repair amounts and duration and stuff previously? I feel like this is a conversation I had, and I could swear that was you. Let's see where we're at. I think I'm just about out of time. Oh yeah, we're at 1:30. How about that? So Shipwright's Glyph, that's awesome. Increased durability while focusing on a Wait, hold on. Let's call this reactive repair. And then I have no idea what our 14th level thing is supposed to be right now. Addition, spells cast. Thank you, alarm. Creating a glyph, you can use any other spell on your bonus spell list. Yeah, we need to fix this language, but ooh, maybe we can just make it when you create a glyph, you can use a spell slot to store an upcast ritual, an upcast mending spell, because we should be able to do the ritual for the 1 hour ritual D8 plus stat, and then just as a spell slot spin as an action to be able to repair on the fly. That just, I don't know why I didn't want to do that initially, but better world. This is now a better world, so I'll fix that. When you create a glyph, you can use a spell slot to store an upcast mending ritual. Store a ritual. No, just an upcasting. Store an upcast mending spell. At any without. You can create a glyph. When you create a glyph, you can use a spell slot to store an upcast mending spell up to your maximum spell level, even if it exceeds 3rd level. There you are. Right on. Well, it feels like it's come up twice now, so obviously it needs to be fixed. This is a fucking glorious opportunity to update that. Fantastic. Spell tweaks. I don't know. I honestly don't know what our spell tweaks should be, but Let's see. And you're right about fabricate. That's a good call. Maybe we can make something that doesn't require materials for fabricate. Let's go. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can flesh out our spell list here, and then I'm going to call it a day, and we'll come back tomorrow and finish it. So, Lehman's Hut is a great idea for storing just your tools. Did you bring your fucking tools? We already have our 2 3rd levels, so let's go to our 4th. Should be on this page. There we go. Arcane Eye. Blight, Charm Monster, Compulsion. Confusion, Conjure, Control, Death, Dim, Div, Dom, Ev, Fab, Fabricate. Good to go. Giant, Grasping, Giant, Guardian, Hallucinatory. Oh, I didn't know Leo was. I thought Leo was 3rd. Okay. Fourth level? Really? Jesus. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to go back to 3rd level. Let's see if there's another 3rd level spell that we can pick up other than Glyph of Warding. Tongues, Vampire Touch, Water Breathing, Water Walk, Wind Wall, or no, doesn't feel intuitive at all. Let's go to the next one down. Glyph of Warding was such a good grab. Oh, it's Tiny Hut I was thinking of. Right. Tiny Hut's doesn't feel right for repair. Come on, there's gotta be something that makes sense in here. Needs to be on this page. Nope. Nope. Fuck. I am not immediately seeing it, my guy. I really don't want to go with Leo's Hut. Meldon the Stone isn't interesting. I mean, there's like 2 ships that are made out of stone: Dwarven Fortresses and Illithid Eye Tyrants, or Beholder Eye Tyrants. Yeah, that's not a strong pick. Non-detection. Plant growth. That's super iffy. Protection from elements. That's not a horrible idea. Let's look at that real quick. For the duration, the willing creature, or ship, if we upcast it, you touch has resistance to 1 damage type of your choice. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Okay. Let's do it. Mending, message. Comprehend languages. It doesn't. Unseen Servant makes sense. Let's see if I can find the 5th level and we'll call it a day. So we've got skill empowerment already. That seems to make sense. Wall of Stone. Not so much. Legend Lore. What a spell. Mislead, Modify Memory, Pass Wall. Binding, Telepathic, Reincarnate, Scrying, Seeming, Steal, Summon. What's up? You know what might be cool if they had Glyph of Warding, where they can burn any spell glyph placed on a ship. Repair it. Huh. That might just be like a good general magic, like a temporary magic item you can drop onto a ship. That might actually just be a good generic magic item. But I like that idea. Teleportation Circle, Tree Stride, Wall of Force. Not really seeing that there. Cloud Kill, Commune, Conjure, Contact, Contagion, Creation. What's Creation do? Is either an object or vegetable matter, or mineral material, or mineral matter, stone, crystal, metal, and like. The object must be no larger than 5 feet square, and the object must be a form of material that you have seen.
The spell's duration depends on the object's material, as shown in the materials table. The object is composed of multiple materials. Use the shortest duration. Oh my boys, I think we just found the one that we want. Yeah, we're gonna add creation. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that just makes sense. That does make sense. I don't know if I want to make that like a core feature, because like first you have to set the glyphs, and then in addition, any existing glyph can be triggered to instead repair the ship. To cast a mending spell of the same level cast into it or as a third level spell, whichever is higher. In addition, any existing glyph can be triggered. Oh, that is like takes care of fucking everything. In case it's your own, so that would be a redundancy, but it's double redundant. Okay, cool. No, I'm good with that. That's a good suggestion. I like that. This isn't necessarily the best language, but I have an editor. We're gonna hire an editor and we'll take care of that. So now we've added creation. Where was skill empowerment? Is skill empowerment still exist? But I have a plan. Spell, Zan. Shit. That spell no longer exists in 5th edition. Okay, 5e24 got rid of skill empowerment, so let's ditch that and then go back to our list of spells and see if there's something else that's tasty that we can find. We got to creation, and we're going to mess around with creation. But let's see if we can find another spell. Destructive Wave, Dispel, Dominate Person, Dream, Flame, Greater Restoration, Hallow, Hold Monster, Gesh, Dream, Dispel, Dominate Person, Destructive Wave. Legend Lore, Mass Cure Wounds, Mislead, Modify Memory, Passwall, Raise Dead, Rary, Reincarnation, Scrying, Seeming, Steel Wind, Summon, Swift, Synaptic. I guess Telekinesis isn't a bad one. I bet, yeah, Telekinesis is actually pretty good. Yeah, this simplifies everything here. When you use the mending cantrip as ritual, repair A+, when rolling dice to repair a ship with... Yeah. So that works. Now we have 14th level, which is create material. While performing, while using, performing repairs, you can cast the creation spell while performing repairs. You can cast, let's go look at creation real quick. And then we'll be done. Creation, thank you. Duration is special. Gems, precious gems, stone and crystal, vegetable matter. Precious metals would be just regular metals. So, hour. Okay, so you can cast the creation spell while performing repairs. If you can cast the creation spell while performing repairs. The material created with the spell is permanently material created with the spell is permanent when you cast creation while performing repairs. There we are. The material created with the spell is permanent. When you cast creation while performing repairs, you must, if you maintain concentration for 1 or more hours, and maintain concentration for at least 1 hour while performing repairs, the material created for the spell is permanent. You can only create stone. You can only create vegetation. You can only create materials listed for you can only create vegetation. You can only create wood, crystal, or wood, crystal, or iron. You cast when you cast creation. How do I want to word this? When you cast creation and maintain concentration for at least 1 hour while performing repairs, the material created with the ship is permanent. The type of material you don't choose. The type of material when casting the spell this way. Instead, it replicates the material the ship is already constructed from.
that's crappy wording, but like if you build a light material ship, you're getting light materials, which is typically like crystal or wood. If you're building here, I'll show you materials. Ship materials. So light materials typically like bone, ceramic, wood. Heavy materials is like crystal, metal, and stone. And then composition material includes either a blend of heavy and light materials, such as metal, wood, ceramic, and crystal. The ship statistics are modified by the materials it is constructed from, as the DM can describe. So those are the materials that you can create with it. So you're going to just basically duplicate whatever it is that the ship is already made of. If you've made your ship out of solid gold, then you're just going to replicate more gold to fill in the gaps, basically, is what we're looking at here. Yeah, it is. But I want to use the material here so that if the DM, so that you're just, yeah, like I said, you're just basically healing the wounds of the ship with the material that already exists without having to think about what it is, without having to choose it, so you can't exploit it unless your team has already done so. If the material is stripped from the ship, it immediately disappears, dealing 1d8 damage dealing 1d8 damage. It's fabricated. Dealing 5d8 damage. Necrotic damage to the ship for each attempt. Something like that. Yeah. Maybe I would want to provide an example. I'm not 100% there if I need to or not. But hey, that's the rough draft for the subclass. So we've got a number of repair things. Basically, mending's just going to do all the heavy work for us. It is basically how we're boiling this down. It's basically super mender. Tools, toolkit. Arcane. Let's just call this Arcane toolkit. As a magic action, you can create one of these tools that disappears when you set them down. That remain I like that. So you can just wish magic stuff into your hands. I think that's super fucking cool. I like that. That's super flavorful, but by fucking god, that's going to be useful. Like the Shipwright glyph, that's going to be super useful. I mean, you can only overclock with repair, but repair is what ships need. This is a super fucking useful class. I love this. Man, Omni, thank you for taking this journey with me and helping me find this. This is super cool. I 100% need to fix the repair mechanics. Yeah, I've seen the light. They could be better. They will be better. We're going to fix them. And then I'll probably make a video pointing out that we've fixed them. So, yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm done for the day. I will be back tomorrow morning to continue Eberron art. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, like around 1:30 again, to finish up. We're gonna fix the cleric. That's what we'll do. And so that's what we'll do tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Thanks a lot. Laters.